Hi everyone, welcome to Ms. Sawagid's math class. Today we will build on what we learned about volume from last lesson. Volume is the measurement of how much space a three-dimensional object takes up, which means how much can you fill an object with. Three-dimensional figures or objects are called solids. Examples of solid shapes are the cylinder, cone, and a sphere. We already found the volume of a cylinder last lesson. This lesson we'll talk about the volume of a cone, and next lesson we will talk about the volume of a sphere. So let's review what we already learned about the volume of a cylinder. To find the volume of a cylinder, V equals BH, where B is the area of the base. And look at the cylinder. The base is in the shape of a circle, so find the area of a circle, then multiply it by h, which is the height. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times h. For today's lesson, we will be finding the volume of a cone using a cylinder that has the same base. Watch how the cone has the same base as the cylinder, and it has the same height as the cylinder. So now let's find out how much of this cylinder do I need to fill a cone. Let's see. What do you think? I already cut the cylinder into thirds. So that's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. How much do I need from this cylinder to fill one cone that has the same height and same base? Let's see. What did I need from this cylinder to fill a cone with the same height, same base? Only 1/3 of a cylinder. So a cone equals 1/3 of a cylinder. Let's come up with the equation now to find the volume of a cone using the cylinder. Let's use first the cylinder's volume, which is V equals B times H, where B is the area of the base times the height. But remember, the cone is only 1/3 of the volume of a cylinder. So you need 1/3 of the base times the height. Replace the base with pi r squared times the height, and don't forget to put the 1/3. That is the cone's volume. V equals 1/3 pi r squared times the height. Now, if that's confusing, another way to write the formula would be V equals pi r squared times the height, all divided by 3. Because pi r squared times the height is the volume of a cylinder. If I find that and then divide it by 3, gives you the volume of a cone. Here's an example. Let's find the cone's volume. Write the equation first. Pi r squared times the height, all divided by 3. Now, let's figure out from the cone what we already know. Do we know the radius, the height, or the volume? Look at the picture. Always the radius is part of the circle. Did they give you the radius or the diameter? If the line goes through from one edge to the other passing the center, that's the diameter, not the radius, because the radius is half the diameter. So to find the radius, they gave us the diameter. Divide the diameter divided by 2 is 3.25 centimeter. So the radius is 3.25 centimeter, and the height now is 10.5. The volume is what I'm trying to find. Step number 1 is to substitute what we know in the equation. We know pi is 3.14. We know the radius 3.25, but I need to square it, and I know the height is 10.5. Now simplify by multiplying numbers on the numerator first. 3.14 times 3.25 squared means 3.25 times 3.25, and multiply it by 10.5. Now simplify again by dividing those two numbers. You get 116.08, but I need to round it to the nearest 10th place. So which digit is the 10th place? It's the 0. Does it stay the same or does it go up 1? It all depends on the 100th place, which is the 8. Since 8 is more than 5, then the 10th place goes up 1. So the volume is 116.1 cubic centimeter. Now let's find the missing dimension of this ice cream cone. Since it's in the shape of a cone, then I need the volume of a cone, which is pi r squared times the height divided by 3. Let's figure out what we already know. Do we know the radius? No. And that's what we're trying to find. So that's a question mark. The height is 4.2 inches, and the volume, they gave it to us, which is 3.6 cubic inch. Now substitute what you know in the equation. I know the volume is 3.6, pi is 3.14, the radius, I don't know what it is, but the height is 4.2, all divided by 3. Now simplify by multiplying the numbers on the numerator. Now simplify by dividing by 3. Bring everything else down. You got 3.6, bring it down, equal, divide 13.19 divided by 3 is 4.4, and bring the r squared down. Now I need to isolate r. The first thing to do is divide both sides by 4.4 because that's on the same side as the r. 3.6 divided by 4.4 is 0.82 equals 4.4 divided by 4.4 is 1. 1 times r squared is r squared. Now I don't want r squared, I want r. So how do you get rid of the exponent? Or what's the inverse of squaring a number? It's square roots. So square root both sides. The square root of 0.8 is 0.9 inches. And squaring and square root, they cancel each other. You end up with r equal 0.9 inch. Now let's find the volume of a composite solid. Round your answer to the nearest 10th place. This shape has a cylinder and a cone. So we need to find the volume of the cylinder added to the volume of a cone. But what's so special about this, that the cylinder and the cone, they have the same base, which means they share the same radius. They both have the same radius. But the height of the cylinder is different than the height of a cone. So let's see how this works. First of all, let's find the cylinder's volume by writing down what the dimensions that we know just about the cylinder. We know the radius is 3 meters, the height is 9, and the volume, I'm trying to find that. Now let's talk about the cone's volume. What are the dimensions of the cone? The radius is 3, it's the same as the cylinder. The height is 5, and the volume is what I'm trying to find. So to start, write the cylinder's volume, which is pi r squared times the height. Substitute all the information that you know. And so V equals pi is 3.14, r is 3, but I need to square it, times the height, which is 9. Now simplify. First, 3 squared is 9, so you end up with V equals 3.14 times 9 times the height, which is 9. Simplify again by multiplying all these numbers, you get the volume 254.47 cubic meter. That's only for the cylinder. Now I need to find the cone volume using the radius 3, height 5, and the volume is what I'm trying to find. Write the equation for the cone's volume, which is pi r squared times the height, but then divided by 3. Substitute the numbers you know. I know pi is 3.14. I know the radius is 3, but I need to square it. And I know the height of the cone is 5. Then all divided by 3. Simplify that by multiplying 3 times 3, which is squaring a number first. You end up with 3.14 times 9 times 5, all divided by 3. Now simplify again. Multiply all these numbers divided by 3, and you get 47.12 cubic meter. So the total volume would be, adding the two volumes of 254.47 plus 47.12, you end up with 301.6 cubic meter rounded to the nearest 10th place. Here's the last example for today. You have 10 gallons of lemonade that you wanted to sell. How many paper cups do you need for you to sell those 10 gallons of lemonade? Let's see first. They gave us the dimension for that paper cup. So how much does each cup needs to fill from those 10 gallons, which is the volume of a cone? To find the volume of a cone, you have to write the equation pi r squared times the height divided by 3. Now let's talk about the dimension. Did they give me the radius, the height, or the volume? Since, look at the cup, always the radius is part of a circle, they gave you a line that goes through the cup from one edge to the end, passing the center. That's again the diameter, not the radius. So I need half of that. Since the distance or the diameter is 8 centimeter, the radius would be half of that. So it's 4 centimeter. The height is how long that cup is, which is 11 centimeter. And you're trying to find the volume. To find the volume now, substitute all the numbers you know right now. So the pi is 3.14, the radius is 4, but you need to square it, and the height is 11, all divided by 3. Now simplify by multiplying everything on the numerator. 3.14 times 4 times 4 times 11 is 552.64, all divided by 3. Simplify again by dividing the numbers. You got the volume is 184.2 cubic centimeter. So one cup, if you fill it to the top, will only take 184.2 cubic centimeter of lemonade. So each paper cup holds 184.2 cubic centimeter of lemonade, but you have 10 gallons. So I need to convert the gallon into centimeter. And they told me 1 gallon is 3,785 cubic centimeter. What about 10 gallons? How many cubic centimeter would it be? So now cross multiply. 10 gallons times 3,785 divided by 1 gallon. Watch how the gallon and the gallon cancels each other. 10 times 3,785 divided by 1, approximately 37,850 cubic centimeter. That's just the 10 gallons. So how many cups do I need if each cup holds 184.2 cubic centimeter? Number of cups needed would be dividing that 37,850 divided by what each cup holds, 184.2. You end up with 205.48 cups. But think again, can you buy half a cup? Or can you give someone half a cup of lemonade without having the cup itself? So you have to buy 206 cups for 10 gallons of lemonade. 206, not 205.48. So think again, every time you have a real word problem like this, can you use the decimal or do you need to round to the whole number? So today we were able to find the cone's volume, which is V equal pi r squared times the height, all divided by 3, using the cylinder's volume. We also were able to find how to use the volume in real world applications, or finding the missing dimension in a cone, whether it's a radius or the height if you need to, or a composite solid, adding the volume of whatever shape or solid you have. That's it for today's lesson. Thank you for subscribing and liking my lessons. If you have any comment, please write it down. Thank you and see you next time.